like that. 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 Like that.
Georgia. No, not in Athens, Georgia, boy.
Oh, Chuck and Doug. Look at Tiffany out showing up tonight.
Hey,
I got it
family.
back. I got it back.
What's up?
Hello, family. I'm sorry. I've been like the long lost daughter.
Nah,
Yeah.
I had to get my time management together. But
Yeah,
I'm back.
we know running for office is a whole lot, so we understand.
It's hard.
Robin and I, we coming down there as soon as we get a break to come help. We
Okay.
coming to help.
Okay. Answer right.
Thanks.
Yeah, we're gonna bring Teray with us. He's gonna tag along and meet Bernard down there, and we're gonna get and Robert Deloach, and we all gonna hang together down in Athens, Georgia, and we're gonna have our
That
And I'm
sounds
gonna
fun.
hang on the street. I'm gonna hang on Baxter. I'm
You don't want to go to Baxter.
You going to bounce.
I'm gonna hang on Baxter. That's right.
what happens on Baxter?
I ain't hanging on Baxter Street. No. That when them side eyes come in there. Like, what you doing over here?
What they look like?
Oh, okay.
They look like this. What you
Right.
doing over here?
But Bernard and Judas can hang on Baxter. Chandra cannot. But again, but them two can.
Yeah.
And I'll be right there on Baxter too. I'll be right there with my people. Be like, that's right. West side in the house, west side.
I am weak.
Baxter Street is west side down. That's right. So right, come through.
That's right. That's right.
You know, how you know about that, by the way? Let me ask you. What you been doing?
Right.
Everybody.
Look, you been at the pajama
Baxter Street on
party.
the west side.
Oh, we got a full house tonight.
I want some young people in to give a young perspective to what
I'm
we're
young.
talking about
What
tonight.
you mean?
You're 44. You look out of that range.
You know I had a young.
And
Yeah, y'all can say happy birthday
to
now.
Robert. Happy birthday to Robert. Y'all want to all sing happy birthday to him, or y'all want to just give him a birthday dinner?
No, we good. Y'all can wave your hand and just send the cash app. Send the cash app.
Give him a party.
We gonna send the cash app.
He need a party. Because that
He need a
little
party?
young man all over the place. He need a party.
Okay. We're going to get him a party.
We're gonna party and we go to Athens, April 30th in Athens.
You get a
Okay.
party, you come to Atlanta.
On Baxter Street.
No,
On
I
Baxter
don't want no
Street.
more of this one. Tiffany, you better tell him. You better tell him, Tiffany.
I ain't going to let Jamal go into. We bring some.
That's right. And we
better
be right there on Baxter. We like, yeah, Rob, we right here on Baxter waiting for you, baby. We right here.
We
Boy,
going,
that downtown need no more me.
huh? What you say, Tiffany?
Right by Raising Cane on Baxter.
Okay, we going. They got lemon pepper chicken wing down there.
Oh yeah, but that's
Okay,
American
me,
Deli.
Bernard,
That's
me,
on the east
Bernard, and
side.
Coach Rob, we definitely coming, and we coming to do some canvassing for you. Everybody can vote. I hope.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks, because I got 48 more days.
Oh,
48 more days.
Okay, we're gonna get it together. We're gonna get it together. We got an interesting show tonight, y'all, with some young people, and hopefully the other young man will come in and Jamal give him a text and see whether he got time and if he can come in, because we want a young perspective on this also. We're old heads talking.
Wait a minute now. I'm young.
Right.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Watch your mouth.
I mean, I look 36. I look young.
Fix it, Lord.
Okay.
But we want a few young people telling us what the problem is, because we're here to listen. If I hope all of y'all got the agenda for the night.
Sonya don't.
I got it.
Oh, yeah.
Sonya don't never do right.
I want to push you out there, boo.
No, I got it.
Thank you, Brother David.
I know Keyshawn probably don't have it because we were on, but he knows what the subject is. We're on, we just got off a show off of Jamal Torre's show, Run Tell That. And we did Run and Tell. It was us speaking candidly to the people about how we feel. And this is what we're about to have tonight also. a candid conversation concerning our community and what is happening in it. Some things are not on that, but most of it, this agenda is on what's happening in our community. So we're going to start off with what's up with all these senseless killings happening all over America. Everybody know who all y'all are already. I guess they're watching us. We've been coming on here for 2 years. Most of y'all been on here for more than a year. It's only one young man, and when we get to him, he can, if he wants to, he can tell everybody who he is. But everybody know who we are. Our names are in the corner, and if you go back and Google and watch some of our shows, you'll be laughing all day anyway. But what's up with all these senseless killings that are happening in all over America? It's bad here, being that the population is only 250,000 people, but in this county, a little over 300,000 people. But what is happening that we have such a massive gun problem with nobody having any regard to life? Who want to go first? Sandra, you want to go first?
Well, it's not the guns. You know, y'all know how I feel.
Well, that's why I want you to go first,
Yeah.
so that you can say that, so that Robert and Bernard can get all over you.
Yeah, it's not the guns, because you can put 1,000 gun laws on the books, but until you get these entitled children that come from these parents that, I mean, these children just grew up, because there's a difference from being raised and growing up. You know, you can tell children that have been raised by somebody, taught by somebody, loved by somebody, mentored by somebody, and these other people that they just grew up, and now we're seeing the results. From their age 13, 16, on any given day, I see it here in Houston. You know, from last week to this week, there's been 16-year-olds, 19-year-olds, 18-year-olds. We got 2 right now. They're giving them the death penalty for shooting a man in the chest, trying to steal his Cadillac converter. You know, is that a reason? Is that a reason to kill somebody? Is that a reason to give your life? You know?
No, and I'll answer that. And let me jump right in, because, like you said, move. I see your argument, and I'll offer these things too. And I'm gonna tell a story I know a lot about. It's a personal story. There are 2 guys who grew up in the same household, right? One had a pretty good life and went to college. The other one took the other direction, and it had nothing to do really with what the parents did. What it had everything to do with was trauma. What it had everything to do with was sense of belonging. And I talk a lot about sense of belonging, but if you feel like you don't have a place at home, if you don't feel like you have a belonging with the church group or whatever, you're going to find a place where you belong. And a lot of our brothers and young people fall to the streets because that's who they see as caring for them. And I don't think that's a parental problem. I think that's we got to make sure we work with our young brothers and sisters problem. We got to put our community organization together. So I don't like our mayor. I don't blame it on the mamas and daddies. I don't. I blame it on trauma. I blame it on America. I blame it on the fact that we don't pull people around the table who do this work. And I think we can't just point the finger. We either gonna put up or shut up and keep watching this foolishness continue.
Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna say this. And me and Jules were talking about this earlier, and I done calmed down about 8 hours ago. I'm not going to blame everything on these parents. It's like this here. Guns don't kill people. People with guns kill people. You can come from the greatest family in the world. You can come from the baddest family in the world and still turn out the opposite. Still turn out at the end of the day. Okay, so I'm not going to say, they came from this family and the parents and the parents ain't telling these kids to go out there and kill somebody. The parents ain't telling these kids to go rob somebody. The parents ain't telling these kids to go do drugs. The parents ain't telling these kids to do mass murder. The parents ain't telling these kids. These parents is doing their best to raise their kids. You're talking about you may have five kids in one household, and only one in the household is the mama. Okay? She doing her best and trying to do her best to make sure she get out of a bad situation. Then you got, even if you got a mama and a daddy in the same house, they still may not turn out the way they turn out. So I'm not gonna blame the parents. I'm not gonna, at the end of the day, it was between the mid part 2000 where girls was having babies. 13-year-old babies, 13-year-old kid having a baby, 12-year-old kid having a baby. So then you having a baby raise a baby. Then you have grandmama partying with the babies. So it's a cycle that's happening.
Yeah.
And that's why you've seen so much of all this. When we was growing up, grandmama was 69, 70 and beating the hell out of us and parents. So it's coming around now that babies who's having babies is a result of what's going on. How can a baby tell they 3 months old that they're raising? How a 13-year-old can raise a kid? Come on, you have to grab them like, you know what? Everybody's household is different. Everybody's situation is different. So I'm not gonna say, you know, because they came from there. I came from a two. If it wasn't for my mama, because she was beating the hell out of me because I was always acting up. You know what I'm saying? So
yes, God.
They had took the power away from the parents. If you beat the hell out of somebody right now, you're going to jail. So I'm not pointing the finger on nobody. I'm not saying this. All I'm saying is this. Everybody got issues, but ain't nobody bringing to the table with some solutions to solve this issue. That's all I got.
And our children also have a lot of influences that we have no control over, because whether they have a cell phone, access to social media or not, they'll find it in the schools. It's in the hallways, it's in the bathroom, it's in the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
My 13-year-old doesn't have a cell phone, but his classmate has a cell phone. So a lot of the stuff, and then he doesn't have a cell phone, but he has internet on the TV. So a lot of the influences that our teenagers have, we didn't have. I'm 34. I just turned 34 in January. And I didn't even have that many influences. If I was influenced by a child or somebody doing something wrong, it's because I see it with my eyes. Like I physically touch it because I'm seeing it. Whereas our children, it's right at their fingertips. It's in the cell phones. It's in the computers. It's in the social media. We have so many rappers. We have so many influences that talk the same talk as our children talk, look the same way that our children look. And you know what? To my 13-year-old son, the lyrics that he listens to, it sounds cool. Not knowing that gun carried 25 to life.
Yeah.
That part is left out. But to carry the gun, shoot the op, that's all our children hear. And they lean to their own understanding. It does take a village to step in and say, hey, young brother, let me interpret that lyric for you. Hey, young sister, let me show you how to dress like a lady. Let me show you how to present yourself like a lady. And at 34, I was a part of a mentoring group that helped young females in impoverished neighborhoods. And so I had that teaching from young women, young Black women that looked like me, who had accomplished something, who had already had their heart broken. They showed me the ropes. A lot of our young children don't have that. Their influences is social media. And
their other influence should also be us. If we know
absolutely
they're hearing this, because just like the other day, my son was having issues in class with saying the N-word, right? So I had to go up to the school and explain to him and his friends that all of them were saying the N-word to each other. And I told all of them, I said, people gave their life, about that word, that you guys are just throwing around. And some people, that was the last word they heard before they were dead, and that word was used to demean us. So and I'm only one generation from Jim Crow, I mean, I was born right up in there. So you should not be using this word, period. If you think that this word is giving, you're taking your power back and all this, no, you're not taking your power back. You are using that same inflammatory word that they use to demean us, to demean yourself and each other.
Okay.
So we have to influence our children.
Sandra, that was very well put, but you had 3 other people that was after you that didn't get a chance to say anything. You're gonna have to, as we got a large cast, and we want to hear from the. I want y'all to say what y'all gonna say, and then we want to hear what Keyshawn has to say after Bernard and Professor Torre.
Bernard already talked.
Yeah, I already did. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's you, Jamal.
Y'all know I tell it.
It's you, Jesus.
We need to kill some tourists here. We kill some tourists here. Changes will come about. We go to Athens. We kill some folks at a UJ football game.
You know what?
The views expressed by Jesus are not those of Antioch.
Platform, man.
Listen,
Stop.
the word.
And so what happens when stuff like that occurs? You see society begin to effectuate some change. But when it happened to oppressed people, when oppressed people are being killed, no one is concerned about it. Nobody look at the demographic. Well, excuse me, they know the demographics that this is occurring with. So guess what that happens? Again, those people within the demographics, some of them are not clamoring. They're not ringing the bell. They're not putting it out there constantly. See, people try to tell me about the civil rights movement. I'm like, come on, get on out of here with that. Get on out. It's about human rights. And until you begin to understand about human rights, and again, and disrespecting people, that's what we're dealing with. So that's why I say when measures like that, because I need to go back in time and say something. 9/11. 9/11 changed how this society functioned. 9/11 changed how this society functioned because it was something shocking that somebody went and did something like that, and that you could then watch it in real time. People saw it. Bam! The planes crashing into the World Tower. They saw this happen, and so now it is almost that type of situation. So again, that what we're addressing with regards to, I'm talking about right now with regards to people of color, African people, Latinos, that when now we see other people feeling the pain, that's what occurs. Because just like on Run Tell That, I said the same thing on Run Tell That. And I said it came just like what Malcolm has said, to chickens come home. When the chickens come home to roost, that's when you see some differences occurring.
Yeah.
John.
Yeah, I'm just going to be real. The only person whose statement I actually really enjoyed was definitely Professor Jamal. Because and that's not to say what everyone else said was good. Y'all made some great points. But as y'all were talking, a song just kept playing in my mind. And this is actually an old song. Y'all familiar with the Temptations, right? Y'all familiar with their song Ball of Confusion? All of confused. I'm not going to start singing, but basically, what everybody has said so far, with the exception of Jamal, not only I've grown. Now, mind you, I'm 24, so I'm Miss Taylor. I'm literally 10 years under you. I've heard what everybody said. It hasn't changed where we're at right now. We're still going through this. So that hasn't gotten us out of this situation yet. So we need a critical reimagining of everything. Every aspect of society, top down, We need to start, and we can definitely start with our own. What does that look like? I don't know yet, but it's going to definitely have to take everyone listening to each other, caring about each other, and actually giving a damn.
And
So
we
As far as
see
the shootings, someone said you can make all the laws in the world. We just got to join together and actually pour in our energy to these kids. It's really to everyone. I'm going to stop now.
hey,
Yeah, because it's not
Jamal,
just black people. It's not just black youth. Because I live in the most diverse city in this country.
You think Houston girl go somewhere?
It is very diverse. What the hell are you
Baby,
talking
you're not in California. Come on now.
about?
You in black
Very
ass Houston.
diverse.
Let's be
We
real.
are the most
hey,
diverse
You in
city
Atlanta part
in
too.
the country.
no, he's saying, Sandra, that Houston is more black.
yeah,
than it
No, it is not more black.
Hmm.
It is not more black. You
Viewers.
gotta do the
How many
research on Houston. We have the most diverse country city in the nation,
hey,
aside from New York.
She live in Atlanta part too, y'all.
hey, hold on.
No,
Jamal,
but what I'm saying is that it is not resolute to just black kids around here. Latino kids, 13-year-olds are shooting folk. White kids, they shooting their mama. You know, so it's not just that. You know, so it is
Did I mention
an
specifically
age
black
range
people?
thing. No, it's an age range thing. You know, so it's the from the age of, you know,
But
13 up to 25.
let's look at this in context, Chandra. Disproportionately, who is impacted by the violence? Disproportionately, who's gonna go to jail just because they got pulled over for a speeding ticket? Our folks.
Minorities.
So I get what you're saying, and it's not valid with me because at
But
the end of the day, America, no ma'am, America will take care of those lighter than us. But we will always suffer the consequences of them and disproportionately end up in a graveyard. I'm not worried about everybody else. Everybody else don't have the same conversation in the same place.
hey,
You
hold
go
on.
out there right now, you go kill 5 of us, you ain't gonna hear nothing about it. You go out there and you kill 5 tourists, like Teray said, it's gonna be a national crisis.
Yeah,
Well, can we stop limiting our scope to America first? That'd be number one. That'd be nice.
yeah. But at the end of the day, everybody on here got good solution. Everybody, like I said, everybody on here got good solution. You know, the leaders in our community got good solution. Everybody coming to the table, they got solution. Okay. At the end of the day, let's put the solution to work. Let's start all the who's there, who's right, who's saying this until you walk and get and make some action happen. Then at the end of the day, ain't none of them, whether you young or old, ain't nobody gonna listen to us. And until we keep doing, until we say, hey, enough is enough. With enough, like me and Jules were talking earlier, enough is enough. It done been enough. And like I said, Jules had to calm me down, and it's been 8 hours after that. So at the end of the day, we all got good points. Jamal and everybody got good points at the end of the day. People who watching us, not on here, probably got good points. But at the end of the day is this: what we gonna do with it? When we gonna say, you know what? Let's do this here. And my biggest thing is, I think the young folks need to come together, and we all need to get on the same page. And it don't take violence against violence. It's take with a clear head. That's with a clear head. Everybody need to come together, young and old. This young brother, you have your point. You have your way of thinking. Us as old folks have our way of thinking. So all we got to do is come together and find a solution so we all can get on the same page. Because I may say something wrong, you may say something right, and we going at it. But until we come together, and that's the problem. I done deal with a whole lot of young folks for almost 30 years, and all they tell me is this: the older folks just don't want to listen to us, and we can't get on the same page. So at the end of the day, young brother, I'm glad you're here so you can restart something so we all can get on the same page and not fight one another.
Okay. And it goes deeper than just this. We have in Sacramento this week, 6 people dead, 12 wounded. Dallas, Texas, 1 person killed, 16 wounded at a concert, whatever it was that Sandra them was there having. Um, you got
In both universities.
employees, you got former employees going back to work and killing their bosses and the other employees who helped get them fired. What is the matter? Let's look outside the box. What's the matter with? I think everything has been desensitized. That there is no value for life anymore. We don't care about anything, and to take somebody's life, it doesn't matter. So y'all can talk on that.
Go ahead, Jesus.
Well, one of the things we brought up earlier, that what is in the mind of someone who sees an African American, and I'm just saying African American on this, walks into a convenience store and he gets 2 sodas. He puts the sodas up on the counter, and then what happened? They tell him the price, and he goes and pulls out his money. He then puts the money on the counter, and there are 2 other African Americans who are inside that same convenience store. That gentleman who is 42 years old, he now walks out. And then you have someone who's approximately 18 years old, someone maybe about 17 years old. They walk out behind that person because they saw the person pull out their money. And then what then occurs is that at some point they now demand the person's money. And so then something happens. They now shoot the person. The gentleman, 42 years old, dies. What is going on with that 18-year-old, that 17-year-old who was right there inside the convenience store, and they just witnessed the fact that the person just like this got some money, and they said that's going to be a lick for us. That's a lick for us. We about to now make some money. We about to get something. That for them now to still be so enamored with, so caught up into that they could take someone's life and then not even be concerned with regards to that and with the impact that will happen on their own life. Those are things that we need to be looking at and pondering. That again, it goes deeper with regards to a lot of this right here, and that we have to address this issue with regards to people. I'm like saying, yo, what time are we going to now really be serious about this right here, as opposed to talking about it every year? Talk about it every year, and then we don't see the actions really occurring. And I'm saying making the demands.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you there. I think there are some very systemic pieces that have never been addressed. Troy, I think you hit the nail right on the head. And the concern I have is, we have been doing this over and over and over again. It just happens every 10 years, and it's the same conversation. But unless we deal with systemic issues, probably being at the top of that list, it's just not going to improve itself. The other part of that list, I think, number 2 is we've got to look at law and criminal justice reform. We got to look at cash bail and what that means. We got to look at, why are we not rehabilitating folks, instead making them angrier and meaner so they can come out and be, whatever, and continue the cycle. So the way to stop a cycle is to work on the systems that create it. And I just think that we just don't want to do it. And we don't, again, it ties back to some other things. We don't want to do the things to make it happen. We will sit here and we will complain, but there are ways to do it. There's ways to do it. And I think we just got to really start working together, as Bernard said, and putting people at the table who know how to do it and who got the privilege and the influence to get it done.
You know what?
Go ahead, son.
I mean, maybe good points, but when there's Burger Kings on every corner that I turn, there are help wanted signs on them. Okay. And these entitlement people, the 17, the 18-year-olds that want quick, they're microwave people. They don't want to work. They wouldn't work in being a taster in a pie factory. Half of them,
Get them or not.
They want instant gratification.
Get them or not.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
And if they don't care if it's your mama, my mama, their mama, that they get the money from, they just want it now.
Yeah.
And we have to teach them that, you know, if you don't work, you can't get paid. You know.
But what if we already know that lesson? But we don't, and because we know that lesson already, and we saw
Sean,
y'all struggle.
Sean, you gotta let Chandra McKeithen finish her point first. Then
Right.
you know, you just this is not your subject.
I can tell Teresa trained you, my young, but Teresa do me like that. Don't feel bad. Teresa do me like that.
Hey, break the rules down, Jules.
But we
Tell a young man what the rule is. The rule is this.
Let that man, y'all leave that man alone. Leave him alone. Go ahead, Sandra. Leave that man alone. Leave that man alone.
My thought is, you know, if we don't teach them delayed gratification and how to go out and, because see, they're listening to too much rap that tells them you're supposed to be an instant millionaire. You're supposed to get everything instant grits, instant everything.
Instagram.
You know, and we in this older generation, we've had to work for our wealth, you know, but y'all would rather, not y'all, you, I'm not directly, you know,
I know.
but these younger people, they would rather beat one of us across the head and to get their wealth, you know, or kill us to get their wealth. But you have to delay your gratification. My gratification comes every 2 weeks after I've been working on my job. So we need to talk to our children about that, and our nephews and our nieces. Go ahead.
I'm going to go ahead. But yeah, what happens when we see you? What if we already know that definition of work and the value of work? And we've seen y'all, you know, for let's say 16 years, 17, 18 years, struggle, barely make ends meet, maybe. We see y'all struggle, and then you want us to replicate that same struggle. That's insanity. No one's going to do that.
Good point, though. Good
Now,
point,
not
though.
only that, but I mean, we see minimum wage has not gone up in what, 20 years now. Everything else keep going up.
Mm-hmm.
I just saw a report yesterday saying Atlanta has become unaffordable. Listen, we some of the hardest working people I've ever met have been drug dealers. When it comes to the disregard for human life and the killings, at that point, it might just be desperation.
You're right. You're absolutely right. But
Julius, get her.
but our
there is no but, ma'am. There is no but.
Now, Chandra, that man let you talk now. Come on now, be right. Be right. Let that man talk.
We're gonna actually live and actually enjoy our life and not work to the bone, dying, working to death. We don't. I'm sorry, and I don't mean that.
That is the goal.
That's exactly how my stepdad died. He worked himself to death because he couldn't make ends meet. Me personally, and I'm pretty sure other people in my generation feel the same way. We do not, and we will not work ourselves to death to enjoy what everyone else has.
So what do you do?
Not even counting the fact that everything is screwed against us already.
Sean, let me break this down for you because I hear the young brother. Why would someone who witnessed their family get killed and never enjoyed life go do the same thing? That's dumb. I get it. So what he's telling you is, if I see my white counterpart or my other counterparts, my other people over here and other cultures, they doing well and their parents don't work as much as mine, I want that life too. Why can't I have it? I don't see nothing wrong with it. So what they gonna do, which I love about this generation behind me, is they gonna go take it. Let me tell you something, J. Jones told me a long time ago. Hold on. Let me tell you something, J. Jones told me a long time ago that I had to think about. Nobody gives you anything. Nobody gives you power. You go take it. So either we gonna level this playing field, or they gonna go take it, and I'm all for it.
No.
Hey, go ahead, Tiffany.
No.
Let Tiffany. Go ahead, Tiffany. Go ahead, Tiffany.
I agree with the desperation piece because a lot of children see their parents struggle and continue to see their parents struggle. Inflation is high, living wages are not high. So if I have to pick up a gun and point it at you so that I can help my mama feed my sister, then that's what I'm going to do. And that's the mentality of a lot of our youth. And if we sit on the panel and act like we don't agree, we're not blind.
Mm-hmm.
We're all struggling. Everybody's struggling.
Yeah.
The generation behind us, and Keisha and I agree with you. Y'all are not. I'm 34, neither am I. I'm not going to work 12 and 14 hours a day. And then at the end of the week, I am still struggling. But I'm not going to pick up a gun and point it at you neither.
Yeah.
So what we do have to figure out ways to come up with solutions that helps our youth. Baby, picking up this gun is going to carry you 25 to life. But my sister ain't 8.
Yeah.
And so it's always going to be this tearing because the older people aren't listening to the younger generation. And so the younger generation is going to, in their way, I'm going to show you. And we have killing numbers rising.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
yeah. And you know what?
Jesus,
hold on,
right there.
Hold on. At the end of the day, we it's like I said earlier, man. We as the older generation and the young generation need to come together and find out to work together, because you know what's going high now? Cemeteries. Cemeteries going up high because we have so many young folks. They really and truly don't really care. And I'm just keeping it real with you, young man. And I understand what you're saying. They just don't care. Because they like this, by any means necessary. I'm gonna do by any means necessary to survive. And sometimes that surviving by doing any means necessary costs you your life. And that's why the cemeteries, and you have the people whose funeral people, they make more money now than they ever did in this whole world, whole society. Because every day, you know, it's 10 and 12 funerals at a time, at the same time. And it's not us. It's from 15 all the way to 19, 20, you know. And that's facts. And that's fact. So, and I love my young people, and I've been dealing with them. I love my young people. I love my old people. But I'm just tired of us as older people going to our young people funeral unnecessary.
Yeah,
Well,
I
it's
had
a
a feeling I was
disconnect
going to tell
somewhere.
this story tonight. Number of years ago, I was literally walking home from work, literally not even 5 minutes away, where I was stopped by a couple of younger looking kids. I thought they needed help. Turns out they didn't. They went behind me. They told me to get on the ground on my knees. One of them had a gun point. He was about to bring his gun and point into my face. If it wasn't for a car coming in through the next street, I would have definitely been one of those casualties. So I understand. Yes, I get that wholeheartedly. I know people don't care. I know people is going to do that by any means necessary and with no regard.
Right.
And with that, I want to agree with you, Miss Tiffany, Miss Taylor. Yes, not just, again, like I said earlier, pouring into the youth, not just, and people want to say, these kids need jobs. I mean, yeah, jobs are nice. They give us money, but is the job something we want to do? Y'all never present to us any jobs that we would actually see ourselves doing. It's always, I'm just going to be weird. It's always help related services. No, that's not, and they do pay the bills, but that's not necessarily, and some people are really good at it, but that's not necessarily, where we want to go. Because you're right, we have been influenced by social media, the glitz, the glamour, the pomp and circumstance. Oh, it looks good, and I bet it feels good too. How do you change that? You gotta pour into these kids. When you have these job fairs have so many different types of jobs thrown at them, they just like, I didn't even know this was a thing. When it comes to these curriculums, well, y'all saw what they do in the state level here in Georgia, for example. And by the way, I knew early on, and this is just me personally, I knew early on that the school system was trash. I love Savannah Chatham County Public School System, but let's be real, Savannah Chatham County Public School System is not the best. I was in the IB program back in high school. So for those who don't know what IB is, to the crowd, International Baccalaureate. I remember, and I still do, I praise the good one every single day that I was in the IB program because it wasn't under Georgia standards. It brought out perspective. It really taught me critical thinking. And to this day, I hear the question, what is art? I can tell you everything in the world about it. That same opportunity I had is just not being afforded to everyone else here in Savannah, for example. And we need to definitely start to push a bit more. We need to push initiatives that expand their horizon like IB did. That's why I'm pushing for some global perspective. We need to stop limiting to ourselves to America, start to think globally. Go ahead, Julius, my bad.
I'm going to take personal privilege here and intercede on behalf of the school system. Because just like we can't blame the parents for everything, we can't blame the school system either. Mm-hmm. I think that the school system is doing everything that they can do with what they have. Yeah. Can it get better? Yes. Do we need to pour more into these children? Yes. But one thing, and when it comes to our community, and you said it earlier today, Keyshawn, we need more Black men mentoring these children. Yeah. I mentor 7 or 8 of them.
Yeah.
I mentor 7 or 8 of them now. They calling me now, asking, do we have any work? But it takes somebody to care. That was part of what Run Tell That was about today, to care, so that we can come together to do something to uplift our community. And that is what we have to do. So I'm not just saying that because my wife is with the school system, or that she taught for 31 years. I know that they're doing the best that they can do with what they have. So the school system has the biggest budget of all the government entities, because there's more people that has to be serviced, our children. So it's a combination of everything, just like Dr. Harrison said. It's a combination of all these things. And we have to understand that we have to start connecting the dots. And when we start connecting the dots, making all these things work together, all the wraparound services, everything that is available to help uplift us, and for Black men to start standing up, then we can do something. Yeah. We can move a little further.
Hey, Jules, bring some of those comments up. There's some interesting comments up there.
And Torre, what Keyshawn should be doing, because he made a valid point. They don't want to, in Savannah, all there are is service jobs, and they pay nothing. But Torre, he got his education, and then he works at Savannah State, but he also created a business with his other skills. He has communication skills, and that's what he works, and he does his tourism, business. So he does what he loves, and he works. So the two things he loves to do, he's communicating and he's teaching. I do the same thing. I have a business and I work for NASA. But you have to be willing to, one, cast your net wider.
Chandra, everybody don't have the same dock to stand on, baby.
But
we don't all have the same starting line. We on this panel have a privilege.
I have the same starting line. I
Yes,
started off in the doggone streets and homeless. So
I think what he's trying to say is that everybody can't succeed, but we got to give
right.
everybody a chance.
God gave you a gift of thinking. Everybody don't have that gift. You got to think beyond what you see and what you touch. Everybody don't have the same privileges. You had the privilege of being able to to understand and access things. See, we always want to, again, like Bernard said, we always want to, that's a problem we got to stop doing. We don't know what the next man got going on, but we will say what they know. We'll keep compressing them down and down. We are our own worst victims sometimes. And I hear you, and I don't want to disregard your comment, but I want us to stop assuming what the next person's doing. I don't know what this man on the street could have had a meal this morning. I don't know that, but I got a choice to say, oh, he ain't working. He shouldn't eat, or help him. Can we start helping more? That's what I want us to do.
What I'm saying is, if there's no job out there that you want to do, you have to think of something that you do want to do.
Correct.
And then you create your job. You create it. Because I promise you, for everything that you want to sell or you want to do, there's somebody out there that want to buy it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, Jamal.
Yeah, because a lot of things y'all been saying, I'm like, each time I gotta address it. One thing now, Chandra is saying what she said with regards to me doing something and then also having something else in herself. I'll let y'all know that's African, because I tell you tradition of, especially if some folks, the Luo people in Kenya, what they say, we have our children go to school and they'll get their education and they'll get their jobs. But what we're going to do for the girls, we're going to teach the girls a trade. We're going to teach the boys a trade also. So if they are working and they lose that job, guess what? They still have that trade. They have something they are able to fall back on with regards to now being able to still take care of their family, that they won't have to get caught to other things. And so that's what the Luo people, and I tell people, I say, that is African. So some people make a joke about that type of stuff, talking about we work all these hours, we got all these jobs. It's like, because that's a part of our makeup. So that's one thing right there. But also going to throw it out there. Now, some of y'all know WW Law. WW Law said this. WW Law said a part of our failure in Savannah and Chatham County was that the children of the Black middle class did not come back to Savannah. That we helped them not get to these positions right here and get this education. But they don't come back to bring their skill sets back to the city of Savannah or to Chatham County. So law blamed them. Said that was law said that back in the 1990s. That part of law don't come up in no conversations with people. But then what some of us did go and say the law, did you all provide them with opportunities to even come back? Because some would have probably come back, but did you provide the opportunity? And you all did not do that because you all want to have what we see going on even today. But then also I'm going to throw out there that some of us have abdicated our responsibilities. It is the elders have abdicated their responsibility, the middle age and the young. We all have abdicated our responsibility, but we got to shine the light and just say, if the old people did that, and then the young people blame the old people, then the old people go and look at how young people are not doing. All of us have abdicated our responsibility, and ain't none of us really talking about that. We listen to other people to tell us that we're divided. We're going to tell people the Black family is not divided because you got grandparents raising grandchildren. That's generations between the lines. So they are doing that yeoman's job of that. But I'm going to say, I ask people the question all the time, and I think I may share it. I can't remember if I shared it on this show. I said, who controls the Black community? And people come with all this other stuff like that. They feel like everybody who controls the Black community, the family, we do, the church. I said, no, it's not. The media controls the Black community. The media. So what the media does, what it's throwing out at us, that then becomes, so it comes at us, so it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Just like when we talk about hip-hop, even Chuck D, Public Enemy, talking about saying that we don't get caught up into talking about selling drugs and anything like that. And don't let your crime rhyme become the thing that you should be about. Chuck was saying this. So, but guess what? You had A&R people who did not look like any of us, but they understood the threat that was going on with that. They understood the threat of poor righteous teachers, the PRT and other people, BDP, when they put it out there. This thing now uplift them being African-centered. They realized, like, wait a minute, that's a problem. Mm-hmm. That's a problem. So now when you have the California experience with NWA, even though they were positive hip hop artists in California also, that was something that sold right there because they not fed into a stereotype about the black community that all of us are gangbangers, all of us sell drugs. And so that becomes what sells. And so guess what? That self-fulfilling prophecy is what we're doing today. Remember I talked about that chicken comes home to roost? That's all this is right now. It is not. So even you have people who live in two-story homes in Atlanta, in the suburbs of Atlanta, they talk about how gangster they are. And the hardest thing they had to do, one morning, he on Snapchat, talking about he trying to figure out what he got to eat, what he got fixed for breakfast. And people looking at his house like saying, wait a minute, he flogging. This is where he stay at. So that's why I might say, so here it is. We are so misguided. And because somebody else is telling us who we are. That is the danger that has happened. So this is a self-fulfilling prophecy. So now you're going to think, that's what I got to go do to make it, as opposed to then saying, wait a minute, I got the skills, I got the intellect. And I'm going to end on this note right here. I had the Deep Kids with me 2 weeks ago. Deep Kids, I talk about this thing called Koumba, but y'all know Kwanzaa. I mean, they say creativity. I said, what people think about creativity? What is creativity? They think arts, they think about poetry, they think about music. I said, creativity is genius. I said, see how you minimize it? People got you thinking creativity is just about the arts. I said, it is genius. That one of the young brothers here, and so sad, I got to say this right here. He attended Johnson High School. He's a freshman. I don't want to talk about Johnson like that. But he then went and said, everything in this world is tied to creativity. I said, that's right. Cell phones, iPads. And I looked at that and said, you understand where I'm coming from. That is creativity. That is genius. But guess what? If you don't give that to them, then they get caught up into that box like everybody else. Young, old, middle, everybody. And that's when we got to finally kick open that box and get out of it.
Hey, let's say this here. Because I think there's a lot of people watching us and maybe thinking or totally there say, we thinking kids bad. Let's take 3 minutes and talk about the good kids. Let's talk about our good black kids. I had enough of talking about the bad one. Let's talk about the good one. One thing I can say about this young generation right now, they're using what they got, social media and all that. And most of the girls that I know about, they got their own business. They starting their own business. They're working for themselves. You know what I'm saying? And they got their own. Hello?
Go ahead.
What the hell? They got their own business at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? So let's talk about what good they doing in society. It's not always talk what's bad doing. They doing good. And at the end of the day, let's move on, Mr. Producer, to the next subject, because we already still on number 3. We still got a lot more to go.
Well, a point of personal privilege again. You do know this show called Rabble, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
You can't order the next subject.
Can I also say that representation matters? That black kindergarten teacher, representation matters. Yeah. Representation absolutely matters. We need more black and brown men and women being represented in our children's daily lives. Mm-hmm. They should not think just like the brown paper bag test. We shouldn't think that the melanin in our skin automatically makes us bad. And representation changes that. And it's been a lot of talk about in Chantico, the movie, and how a lot of the characters look like African American. That movie made so much money because so many parents gravitated at the fact that those cartoon characters look like my son. He's going to be excited to see this because it looks like him on the TV. So I just wanted to put that into representation matters.
And that's why the media is so powerful with regard to that. And I'll just say this, that, and it's not that I tell we have to learn to stop dividing ourselves up, saying that we're at odds with one another, and people get into about men versus women, and that's why I tell people, I say we should never get into that because that feeds into the enemy. That is what the enemy wants you all to think, that the young is against the old is against the young, the middle age. That's what they want you to think, and they want men to be against women because that's how they see. For them to do that, that's okay because they got the power. But when you are part of the oppressed groups and you go along with that, all that does, that helps you out. And then somebody asked a question about the prison industrial system. That has always been around. It is not anything new. The criminal justice system is tied to money. It is tied to money. It has always been tied to money. It is wealth. And that when you look at the numbers, it is us in there. And because, again, they not have you working for them still yet. They're making money off of you. Even when you were trying to get that lick, you are so crazy that you don't even understand that. And that goes for young and old.
Before we move on to the next subject, Evanity said something here. She said different people have different circumstances. Not everyone is cut from the same cloth. Some are progressive achievers, while others don't even attempt an effort to progress. It's all about mentality. You're exactly right. It's about mentality.
Yeah.
And it's about us making sure that we put that, we form that mentality in the kids from when they're very small.
Exactly.
We have to start at that age when they're 2 and 3 years old, for them to be who we want them to be. My cursor is freezing up for some reason.
Quasi had something else that came up. That's why Quasi couldn't join us tonight.
Oh, okay. I was wondering.
That's what he was. I did to contact me. He said, yeah, he had something else that came up. So,
okay. We got, what does black leadership look like? Black leadership, and what does it look like? That is a subject that we can just go right on into from the last subject. It sent us into this subject.
It looks like Tiffany.
That's right. That's what black leadership. That's the new.
You're right.
Yeah.
But if I could comment on that really quick, I think that's a big part of what we've been talking about earlier too. I think, and Terry, I'd love to hear your comments on this. Back in the day, we had Malcolm, we had Martin, we had Rosa, we had individual leadership, right? And I think so many times, and this is throughout the nation, not just black folk, but we look to that one leader. When the leader's inside of us, we all bring something to the table to uplift our community. And so I think I've talked about this before. So Keyshawn brings something, Teray brings something, Bernard brings something, Chandra brings something, Julie brings something, I bring something, and we collectively work together to uplift our community. So I think once we understand community leadership instead of individual leadership and collective work, I think that's a different, and again, that's a part of the principle, working together as a community.
Yeah. And that's why I say, when it comes to black leadership, we can't just you got the Al shot and you got Jess and all of them with me personally, and y'all know how I feel. I think they need to move on and let the young people, bring what they bring to the table, and they bring a lot to the table. And I think we just need to sit down as black leadership as a group. Yeah, back then with Martin and Mac and all that. Now it's a whole generation out here that we can't just point our finger at one person and say, oh yeah, we're gonna follow that person, or we're gonna follow that. At the end of the day, you got some of these black leadership just want to get in office and just do what they do at the end of the day. But we still need to just I'm not like I think you said this before. You said no. When they say black leadership, we all on here trying our best to try to help our community. We don't have to do this, man. We can go off on the sunset and live a happy life. We don't have to do this. At the end of the day, we doing it because we love to do it. We love what we do, and we get criticized. We get people calling us names. Man, we get y'all don't realize we get tear up. But we got some people out there enjoy doing, happy about what we're doing. So when you say black leadership, let's take that black leadership. Let's take the black out of there and say leadership. Let's say leadership.
True. I trust people to be in leadership, or to speak for me, that have gone through some things, I don't trust the people that have just, they're running for office just for notoriety.
Yeah.
And they just want to be a lifelong, person sitting in office, or their granddaddy, was in this seat one time, and they've just been wealthy since birth, all of that, because they are not compassionate. They do not feel the people. And then even if you have been, in the struggle at one point, like somebody we know, a mayor that we know, he used to, be with the people, but he has been removed from reality, and he can't feel the pain of the people that he serves. So he can't speak for us anymore, because the heartache and the hurt that his people are feeling, he's removed from that. And that's why he needs to be removed from his seat.
Yeah.
Next.
I am not a part of this. I am not a
I
part of this.
know it.
Why would I know you were?
I know Jesus was coming. He haven't risen. I know it. I know
Yeah.
it. Hey, I'm glad Sadie say something because I almost bite my tongue and not listen to him.
See, because Julius pulled that on Run Tell That, and I was trying to do so, but I had to be the host, so I had like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I want to throw this out there. I tell folks what it is. I say you must be selfless, not selfish. And so we have leadership that are selfish and not selfless. And that with regards to now, just to say that, give you an example. When we talk about leadership, that's why I say I try to tell people I don't try to get up into the gender differences and to the age differences. Because let me share this with you. That, for instance, at Georgia Southern, they started their campaigns for their Student Government Association. They have a population of 27,000 students there. The first day of the campaign of the election, which was on Monday, only 151 people had even voted. Only 151 people had voted in a student election. And
That's a fine school.
By midnight, it was only 231 out of a population of 27,000. So I then asked one of them when they came by my class, I let them talk to my people, to implore people to get out the vote and let them know their platform. I said, how many people voted last year? They said 1,000, like 1,075. So again, what I'm going to say, check this out. Leadership issues, it's not just the old, it's the middle, it's the young, it's everybody. Because what goes on that as opposed to you understanding that you are a leader, we're looking at, I want Tiffany to be the leader. I want Sean to be the leader. I want Bernard to be the leader. I want you to be the leader. I want Keyshawn to be the leader. I want Julius to be the leader. I want Jim, Bob, Susie. I want Karim to be the leader. I don't want to be the leader because I'm afraid. And guess what? We have always had various leaders. There's never been one leader for us. When people talk about that, that's misleading. You had Frederick Douglass, but you had the mother of reparations, Sojourner Truth, also putting stuff out there. You have Martin Delaney, so it's never been one per people. The black people only have one leader. That is some bull crap right there. That's again, you call it to the media. The people misleading you. We've always had various leaders. We've had it in our own communities. But what we got to understand is that we got to know, we got to check them out, make sure that they are selfless, not selfish.
Yes,
that's correct.
Yeah.
And I'm not going along with nothing they say about our mayor.
Sean.
It's funny you mentioned the Georgia Southern elections because when I went to Georgia Southern, I definitely ran for office. I definitely was elected senator, and I definitely ran for president, even though I lost that one.
Yeah.
Because you're right, it's not necessarily based on age, but I know this. Individuals don't beat institutions. The collective does. It's just how do we reach the collective? How do we reach enough of the collective for it to really matter? Unfortunately, no one has really figured that out because we see it every 4 years. When we repeat that cycle. I know y'all see those ads. We're gonna start seeing more of them as we get closer to November.
Mm-hmm.
I keep going back to what I said at the very jump. We need an entire reimagination of this society and its structures. Everything. What does it mean to be a leader? What does it mean to choose the people that are going to represent you. Does that system even exist at all? Would that system even exist at all? We need to seriously come to grips with a changing of the guard in the biggest societal way possible. We need to start imagining a world post-America for us, and that's going to be actually key to our survival, I believe.
Okay.
Outside of Western civilization and its structures.
We say, Jamal.
Keyshawn, when you say what you said, I'm gonna throw something out there to folks and tell folks why ATR or our black media is so important. Because what I tell folks, what happened? Just use it one place. When we control our media, when we had control of our media, we had our newspapers, our radio stations. That's when we had power. But when you have other conglomerates and now come and buying up radio stations that put out black messages, that had black shows, that had Nightline, people from around the country. I mean, Night Talk, they were able to hear stuff from around the entire country. Somebody in Detroit or Athens could hear about what's happening in New York. That's why with regards to Tawana Brawley, even all that stuff right there, people listen to Bob Law talk about this. But guess what happened? Now you get these conglomerates who now come in and they not Clear Channel, Cumulus. They now begin to change the type of information that goes into your community. So now that's why ATR, our black media, becomes important, because I tell you, we had a gap with regards to that in some of our communities. Where who's giving us that information? It is the Gannett News Service. That's who's doing it. It is CBS News. It's the local news outlet who don't have no concern about black people or poor people or Latino people or Asian people, have no concern about, and we're getting it from them. And so we sit right there looking at it like this. We're taking it all in. So now when we have forums like this, where we now are controlling the information that gets out there, that's why the seed is not being planted. It's going to be taken to another level. But that's where you got to have that commitment. And so that's what, again, what the deal is, we forget about the commitment. We elect somebody to office, and we forget to hold them accountable. That's when Quasi said that earlier, you hold them accountable continually. And so as long as you can keep the hold them continually, that's why when Chandra, Bernard, Jewish are saying what they say about, and Robin say about our mayor, I understand really what's going on. They are holding them accountable. That is what is needed. And some people don't like that, but guess what? That's the truth. We tell folks, falsehood does not like truth, because falsehood perish when truth comes around. And that's why I understand that. So again, they're holding them accountable. And I'm like saying they are following what is supposed to happen, as opposed to letting people just walk in there and they do nothing for us. But it's about accountability. Not that I approve of them talking about the mayor, but I understand why they do it.
We don't do it, but you understand.
I want to add something to that very quickly.
Yeah,
but the
it's
fact
about
now
leadership,
it's not only
not
about.
likership.
Hold on, Keyshawn. We go in a little circle. So when everybody says, then we go around the circle. Go ahead, Bernard.
Hey, it's about leadership, not likership. Just because I like you, that don't make you to be a good leader. If I like you, I ain't gonna vote. Just because I like you, I want to say what leadership you bringing. And if I feel like you bringing the right leadership, I'll vote for you. But I'm not gonna vote for you because I like you. And then sometimes I wake up, I don't even like myself. So
that's why.
At the end of the day, hey, it's time. Half of y'all on this show may not like me one Wednesday.
You messing too.
You know what I'm saying? That's how it is. It's leadership, not likership.
Tiffany, you had anything on this?
I seen a comment that said that black leadership often was self-serving, exhausted, self-serving, and unprepared. And that's what a lot of people are used to. I feel like, and this goes a lot with today. We'll just give anybody a leadership, a place to say that they're a leader. Anybody.
Yeah.
Anybody.
Yeah.
Anybody.
Right.
Reality shows, presidents.
Yeah.
Right. You're right.
Yeah.
These commissions here in Savannah.
Well,
That's all I'm saying.
You about to bring the word. I thought you were going to start preaching.
Let me say something real quick. A couple of points. You know, our leaders have not always been, you know, we've never had just one, like Jamar said. It's been a few, but they've all, back in the day, they used to be, and Malcolm X had a problem with this. Why are you trying to give us musicians as our leaders? Why are you trying to give us superstars, sports stars as our leaders, and actors as our leaders? You know, and that's what Malcolm's problem was with it. Leadership, if you want to know what black leadership looks like, just look in the mirror. You can lead all by yourself.
Yeah.
That's
But
right.
we're more powerful together with what we're doing.
Yeah.
And let me tie this in, since Brother Jamal brought it up. Why we're so relevant, all things relevant in our community. If anybody else was doing what we're doing on this network, anybody else, it would be all over the nation.
Yeah.
We got 20-something shows airing 7 days a week, with 6 more in the progress, 2 more coming back. 1 news show about to start. 29 shows before the summer. You think they interviewed us one time? But it's not about us. We ain't calling them to ask us to interview. We're going to keep doing what we're doing.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody here getting paid.
Yeah.
We're doing it for the love of our community. That's what leadership looks like. All of you, I give all of y'all a hand.
Yeah.
You know, give yourself a hand for the dang vision.
Yeah. Yeah. Amen. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
But you know what?
You
And
cuss out tomorrow.
this is to show you that you were right, Jesus, when you talk about other people, you know, staring what we hear, because they talk about Ukraine, the atrocities of Ukraine, but have y'all heard one time about the atrocities of Africa?
Yeah.
Come on now.
Coups going on and genocide going on for years.
Yeah.
South
And we
Sudan
never
is
hear about it.
Yeah.
South Sudan is literally gearing up for another civil war.
Yeah.
The nation of one of these nations just had a coup. The name is escaping me right now, and I'm embarrassed to say it. But there are much more important things. Not even, I don't want to say important. There are so many serious matters going on right now all over the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Abuses
Umar
of power.
Johnson says it. Brother Umar Johnson says as well, and that's one of the episodes that I'm gonna have on our vulnerable communities. He said the CIA was created to overthrow and kill blacks.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you look, that's what the CIA have always been doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Look at it.
Yeah.
Everybody that died was killed almost by the CIA. They had a hand in it.
Yeah.
yeah.
Y'all need to listen to that, but it's going to be on all things
you know,
relevant and on vulnerable communities real soon. Go ahead.
And you know what? And they back in the days, this would get me. And when it comes to us as black folks, you know, but we'll sell each other out, man, for a man in the moon. We'll sell each other out. When they had Martin, when Martin them had that big old meeting, the CIA already had microphone planted on some of the black folks close by so they can hear everything. You think those folks didn't know Martin them every move because they was already planted with the black folk. You think that black one who came in there and stabbed Martin Luther King when he was doing it, it was already planned. It was already they already know what was going on. They already know. So we need to stop selling us out. It's been going on.
We're doing something. Because guess what, Bernard? When you sell me out, guess what's going to happen? They're coming for you next.
That's it.
I agree with you. People so dumb.
Judas was black.
You going to be next, fool.
You know,
right.
So Judas was black. I mean, so this originated
Yeah.
I mean, we were the original people. So this ain't nothing new.
Nah. And you know what? On a serious note, to be honest, on a serious note, man, it's like, I don't know how y'all feel, but I'm one of the very emotional person. And I start crying, man, because I think about all what we going through and all what our people going through. And it's sad. And we don't have to. We the only people that have to go through all the. I don't understand why we got to fight for our rights. And we want to build this country. And the Indian found this country. And the white folks stole this country. So why we got to fight for what we built?
Because
day, if it was come where everybody go back where they come from, all of us go back where they come from. Period. Christopher Columbus ain't discovered America. They stole America and brought us from Africa to build America. Period. Hands down. And that's a black history for you.
Jamal.
What it comes down to is that America psychologically cannot deal with what has happened. And the problem is that you all still exist. What happened, just like Bernard, you talk about Native Americans, that they stole it. That again, Native Americans, many of them have essentially been annihilated. They have gone extinct. But what the problem is that you black people, you are still here. You are still here. You are still a sign of the hatred and the racism of this nation. And so what you have to do, this permanent underclass of you, we want you extinguished. We want you out of here. But the problem is that you are still going on. You are still going forward. And that is, again, the plan was not for you all to survive, but you all have survived. And that's why it becomes so detrimental for black people when they don't embrace who they are and love who they are. So that's why I tell folks, I do this with people when I have on my journeys and we go down River Street. I said that only the best of the best survive. 7 out of 10 died when they're being marched through the continent to get to the factories. Then 3 make it there. Then 1 or 2 gonna die in the middle passage. So when you see that one black person in the Americas, anywhere in the Americas, from Canada going on down to Argentina, when you see that one person, that means that somebody in their family survived. At least one person in their family survived. Only the best of the best, and you are descendants of the best of the best. And I say, when you understand that, you carry yourself differently. Treat each other differently, and then look out for your brothers and sisters. But as long as I have you caught up with the blinders on, not to like yourself, to get that lick and all the other negative things, guess what? You are furthering the aims of trying to annihilate these people who you thought should have been gone long ago. You are still here right now, and that is a problem. That you have been ordained to be here, and it goes against the very nature of them. And so I tell people, I say, so you got to understand, you got purposes in your life, divine purposes in your life, and you need to act accordingly with regard to that. But guess what? I tell you that, but you got some other stuff coming into your head, coming into your vision that now got you clouded. It basically got you with some glaucoma on your eyes right now. You got, cataracts on your eyes and on your mind's eye in particular. And we got to go forward.
Glaucoma. That's a paper. Cultural glaucoma. That's a paper right there.
I want to back
we
that up.
We got to go forward. And then that's why we got to embrace who we are. And so when we do that, nobody can touch us. And that's why I tell them, now I might joke about some things that when I see somebody who is African, guess what? I look at them and I understand something. I'm like, somebody in their family survived like me. So I ain't going to have no issue with you. I ain't gonna have no issue with you because Tiffany out of Athens, Georgia. I ain't really gonna have. I might joke about it, but when it comes down to it, I look at her. I'm like, yo. Oh, I see somebody in Harris County over in Houston, Texas. I ain't gonna have no issue with you. I ain't got no acrimony. I ain't got no hard feeling with you because I understand. Like, wow, somebody in their family survived like somebody in my family, and we got a connection. No one in this world can say anything like that. No one. No group of people in this world can say anything like that except for black people on the continent and in the Americas and in Europe. We the only ones can say that, and that's why they gotta make sure you don't embrace any of that.
Yeah. And you're right.
I want to back that up and say something very quickly. Savannah, and I want to bring it back to Savannah. Savannah was the first planned city ever established in the New World. So that means every other city before that, they made it up on the fly. This city here was specifically planned by the English to run how it's supposed to run. That's still the same MO where the city is operating under today. So it's interesting because it was speaking on Dr. King. You know, he came down here in Savannah in his time, and he said, you know, this is the most desegregated city in all of America. But now, not I don't know. I think there's something there. I feel like we're missing. Once we figure it out, it will just be a very major step closer to seeing the world we really want to see. Because it's just something to that. It's something to that I've yet to figure out. Yeah, maybe y'all can help me. But everything in the city happens because there is a plan behind it. Everything in the city, every effect that we see from the stuff they do is planned.
Yeah.
How do we mess up their plans? Do we need to construct better plans ourselves? But it's to your point, Professor. Even though they've planned for our destruction, even though we aren't meant to be here, we're still here. We're still surviving. Like there's power to that. Not a lot of people realize that, and I fear this city has had a history of apathy, and it's. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna let someone else speak.
It's all about this. That's why when you say the apathy is the same apathy at Georgia Southern when they don't go and vote. The apathy is.
Y'all keep talking about school now.
It's not just a Savannah thing. It's the entire country. How many people vote in a presidential election? Do the majority of people vote in the presidential election in the United States? No, it does not. So that apathy is the same apathy that's across the entire country. But it's just for us. It is more dangerous for us when we're apathetic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Bernard, you was next.
But you think all the people around the world come to Savannah just to see Jamal? No. So Savannah is history. It's history. It start right there. It's history. The weeping tide. We don't want to start that up tonight. You know, it's history. And that's why they don't want. That's why they're trying to get rid of Black history in our school, because the white folks don't want. They don't want to be embarrassed.
Yep.
They don't want to be embarrassed. They don't want our kids to know our history, and they don't want their kids to know the history of this country. That's why.
Because if their children know the power that African American have, their children will cower themselves.
Yep.
They will cower themselves. If our children knew that they came from royalty, they would rule white children. And therefore it's getting wiped out.
That's it. That's it. Hey, I want everybody in America to share this show tonight. If you don't share nothing else, share this damn show tonight. Trust me. Because you're getting your history.
And I want to throw something out there with the government. Julius talked about the CIA. Guess who else was involved with the CIA also, and the agent for the CIA? Gloria Steinem. Now people hear Gloria Steinem, wait a minute. She was moving to feminism, in particular Caucasian feminism in the 1960s. She was an agent for the CIA. So again, we tell folks, look at this, and I used this in one of my classes last week. Gloria Steinem said something. She said that she had no problem writing about the disparities about men of other men outside of her group, that she could write negative things or put things out there negative about Black men, Latino men, Asian men. She could talk about all of them, you know, but she said when it comes to men of her own group, of her own social strata, she has a problem writing about them. She will not write negative things about them. So she's saying that men, Caucasian men who come from my same social background, I have a problem writing about them. But other men, I will write about them. And that's why I tell people, that's why we must cleave to us. We must lock in with our experience together strongly. Because other people, you're going to jump in the bandwagon with them. Guess what will happen? Sometimes they will sell you out and oppress your people too. I throw it out there. J. Edgar Hoover was a homosexual. J. Edgar Hoover, did he not wipe out, destroy Black organizations of liberation? Did he not do that? So y'all going to try to tell me, and then Roy Cohn, who was the mentor to Donald Trump, also homosexual, and he was the one that told Trump, you never admit to any defeat. And that again, the racist views that Trump has exhibited, people don't even realize. Roy Cohn was one of the people. So I'm like saying, wait a minute, y'all gonna try to tell me that my struggle is exclusive to me and that you gotta join these other people's struggle? Yo, fool, that's your struggle too. If you African, if you transgender, if you are a woman, you don't have that foolishness.
Yeah.
Is apathy defeat?
Yeah. And count all those black kids that Abraham Lincoln got out here now.
Yeah, exactly.
Come on. Y'all, if we already done open a can of worms, we might well get deep and let us know.
That was some good fried chicken in it. Woo!
Yeah. Like the CIA plant that microphone in Elijah Muhammad them, and that's how they killed Malcolm X. Don't think Elijah Muhammad ain't had nothing to do with that, y'all. Come on now. I'm just saying.
They said.
I'm just saying.
Help me understand that. I'm not following you. I want to learn. So help me. Seriously, y'all walk me down that path.
Yeah, you ain't old enough to know all that. You 40.
Yeah. That's another story.
That's what I'm saying. Y'all got connect. Yeah, that may be.
You know why?
You talking about with Malcolm?
What
happened?
Right. I'm yeah.
Because Elijah Muhammad was sleeping with everybody.
Well, what happened? You had the plants. You had the plants in the Nation of Islam. They started the Nation of Islam again. That's why I said liberation groups from the FBI and all local police departments have plants. Even one of Malcolm's bodyguards, who he thought when he had his own organization, was a New York undercover police. That's why the same thing that was happening even with regard to Fred Hampton. This was intentional with regard to our government. And so guess what? Even with Brother Mujahid, they said this right here, that again, it was a fervor that was being created against Malcolm. But then and the Mujahid said that brothers came up to them on the corner and said, you hear what Malcolm saying about the messenger? And they were like, that's awful. And they said something need to be done. And Mujahid said that this is now going over 20 years ago. He said, those brothers came to us, but we don't know who came to those brothers.
Yeah.
So what now? Now it comes out that listen. So you have a United States governmental conspiracy against Malcolm. But later on, we see the same with regards to King. And now just throw it out there. But they knew what King had been committing adultery also. King was committing. So that was a part of what they could hold on to.
Yeah.
But that King made a mistake about in their mind, and that's why I talked about on the show earlier. 404. People talking about that in the ATL. 404. King assassinated on 404. But King made a mistake that when he not took the same perspective with Malcolm about economic changes, that again must be reparation given to black people in this country. He said there could be a guaranteed wealth for all people in the country. That's why I tell people that when somebody said to me, like, I don't focus on black issues, I said, no, I focus on the issues of the people who are in pain. And if it's tied to black people, I'm gonna talk about that. But guess what? I still say that I'm a human rights activist, and I look at all of it. Like King said also that this country is so wealthy that there should be no poor people in this country. That's when they got killed.
Yeah, and that's why, man, we as black men, I'm telling you right now, we as black men should clap our hand for black women. Those black women stuck by Malcolm, stuck by Martin Luther King, stuck by knowing what they was doing out there, but they didn't say nothing. They stuck by. Our black women will stick by us to thick and thin until they had enough with us. But at the end of the day, I give all my praise to black women. Trust me.
Right.
They put up with a lot of shit from us. They do. But they stand by us. They stand by us.
That's what black leadership look like.
That's what black leadership. That's right. That's it.
I had said that earlier.
Drop the mic. Drop.
I said that earlier.
Hey, it takes a strong black woman to deal with us. Jamal, he ain't got no woman yet, but he understand.
You wouldn't give him his money from the job from when you started America at the Dock. He'd have been on a date by now.
Hey,
yeah.
They said, They said Jamal don't need no money. He just need to start running around and spend some time with them. That's all. You just need to spend some
I
time with them.
Producer, move on to the next subject.
Right.
Black Lives Matter.
I'm trying to save my
Black
people.
Lives Matter.
Black Lives Matter, Jamal.
And you're doing a good job.
I
Y'all ain't talking about Chandra. I can only talk about Chandra.
What you say, Jamal?
So anybody want to be down? We gotta understand that I'm about saving my people. They be down with me. We gonna have a good time always.
And they love you.
Yeah. See, he's just taking people out.
That's it.
Black Lives Matter, or do they? The thing is, the Black Lives Matter organization, they've been trying to castrate these people for a while. I'm gonna give you the backstory. The Black Lives Matter organization takes in a whole lot of money, a whole hell of a lot of money, and now they're saying that they're mad. You know, when you're doing that in your black organizations, and you're trying to do anything for the people, you're going to be looked at under a lens. And they bought a $6 million piece of property in California. Now the paper is trying to say that they're doing something improper. But this is an organization that, had it not been for them rallying black people, we wouldn't have been seeing some of the progress that we've made. It's not a lot of progress, but it has been progress as far as getting us to unite, stand up for our rights, and fight back. I just want to take my hat off to the organization. In every organization, there is some corruption, but hopefully they'll get all that correct and it won't be any. I'm not even going to say that there is any. The white media is going to tell us things to try to destroy those people anyway, just like they'll tell you all the things about us. We're not going to believe anything that they're saying, and I'm just wanting to head that off. There's always going to be something in every organization that is not totally 100, but you have to fight through that, and you have to live through it. You got to work through it. What you say, Jamal?
I was going to say Black Lives Matter existed before the Black Lives Matter organization. Just what y'all and people, and they don't like to get into that conversation. It existed before that. And so when people try to do that, again, like I said, it's an attack on us for us not to support things. Because again, Black Lives Matter. That regardless if you have an organization or not, Black Lives Matter. And that has been said to people long before. So just to throw that out there. Oh, just one little note, the slander that came up on me about I'm running around, I'm going out. No, so the running around, that's the America After Dark stuff to be saying. I'm running around trying to save my people, or not trying to save my people. So it ain't about going on no dates to Julius Hall trying to slander me like that. But again, Black Lives Matter.
I was protecting you.
Mess me up. See, and then,
you.
But no,
I'm saying that. Bernard said that they said that you need to take some time with this, and I was saying that you're out giving education to those people.
Oh, okay. Because somebody said something about dating. That.
Jamal, why every time me and Jewish talk, right? You thinking we together this? He was giving you a compliment. Like the other day, you calling us getting on me, and I was giving you a compliment because you talk so much about us. So I'm just saying.
You were the one who told me that I should never put on any Tompkins paraphernalia.
But you was doing a good deed, and I misunderstood. And I apologize to you because you always talking bad about us.
All right, we got 16 minutes, y'all. 16 minutes. And anybody want to talk on this Black Lives Matter? I know there's some pros and there's some cons, but what we have to do is not let the white media come in. Or let's not even call it the white media. Let's call it the mainstream media.
The mainstream
comes
media.
in and try to destroy something that's good.
Yeah.
You know, had it not been for them, a lot of the movements wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
A lot of the people wouldn't have organized. So whatever bad you're trying to tell us about it, we're going to look at the good.
That's not necessarily the main. How do I explain this? Because that's not. Because if I'm number one, the news story about them stealing the $6 million to buy a home, I could have sworn I saw that last year. I thought that was public knowledge. I don't know why the commotion about it. Y'all, people need to stop that because I definitely saw that in the news. Second, a lot of the Black Lives Matter organizations that popped up throughout from post 2013, 2014, whenever the hashtag started, those, like to your point, those were independent organizations, not necessarily supported by the quote unquote national organization. And I say quote unquote national organization because I personally, even back when I was in high school, when my ideologies, it was a bit different then. I never really messed with the organization because I don't know, something was always weird about it. This is just everything about that coming to life. To your point, Julius, you're right. because the hashtag and it did inspire people to organize. And how do you keep that energy going? You gotta kind of just discard the organization to an extent and keep going, keep that energy going because of the stuff that you built, not because of the name of the national organization. Like every major Black organization seem to have these problems. The national organization doesn't listen to the people that are actually on the ground. The people who are on the ground, those chapters, those are the people that actually matter. Keep them sustained and keep that energy going because they're doing the work. They're doing good work. They're fighting the good fight.
Can I add this real quick, y'all? What's interesting is we'll sit here again. We'll talk about this all night long. But y'all, what's the congressman that's Beavis and Butthead? He let Beavis and Butthead slept with the children or whatever he did. See how we do. I don't care what that woman did. I agree with you. I think the mainstream media is setting itself as a plot. And if they did do it, so what? I agree with also what we call Sean said. Let's just fix it. But we'll sit here and we'll our communities do this. But we got this man over here sleeping down here doing all kind of stuff with children, and we get them. They get away with stuff like that. They get away with foolishness. We can't do that. We got to tighten up. So if it did happen, let's tighten up. But we gotta then step up and say, you know what, that was bad. Let's put some safeguards around it so we don't have it again.
That's correct. Next.
Go ahead, Tiffany.
Matt Gaetz, nasty self.
I listened to her last interview where she said that she has been doing the Black Lives Matter since she was in 6th grade. Before it got national attention, before people started saying it. And at some point, you have to disconnect me from things that I've produced if I'm moving on to other areas. She even commented on the purchasing of the house and how high property is in California. She even went as far to say that even in South Compton, her friend paid $1 million for a house. That's just how high houses are. And she made it a point to always disconnect from what the media is saying. Because if she didn't, she would be driven crazy because they're always trying to make them look like they're doing things that they're not. Stealing money. Not representing Black Lives Matter the way. But at the end of the day, these are still young women. And they still have lives to lead.
Mm-hmm. That's correct.
We all have lives to lead.
Yeah.
Me running for commissioner, if I don't win, I have to keep on with my life.
Yeah. Right.
What's said in the midst of running, I still have to go on with my life.
That's right.
Because that's my mental health. I have to lay down with my mental health. And mental health is so important. And we forget that a lot when we talk about people.
Yes, God. Come on, man.
Yeah.
We have to be mindful.
Yeah. Because what it is that they come up with, Black Lives Matter. People always say, well, all lives matter. Yeah. But at the end of the day, they don't accept that our lives matter. And that's why that's what it is. Until you accept our lives matter, then we won't keep fighting and say Black Lives Matter. Because we the only people in this country got to fight for our life. Fight for our life. It don't make no sense. So they're doing a great job. You keep it up. Whether they got 6 million or 10 million, it is what it is. They made an impact, a global impact.
Yeah.
Yep. And you know who did Black Lives Matter first? James Brown.
Yeah.
Say it loud. I'm Black and I'm proud.
Yeah.
That's right.
I mean, he trademarked it.
That's right, Harrison. All Black Lives Matter.
Oh.
Okay. we got about 4 more subjects, but we'll get to them next week. On this show, we don't care whether we get to the end as long as we have a constructive conversation and making sure that it is feeding our people. One thing that I want to talk about, we'll talk about the gentrification next week, so we'll have more time with it. I got a segment that I thought Bernard was going to do about the women in makeup. It's a great topic.
Next week.
It really needs to be. It really needs to be on your show. It's a great topic if you see what makeup does to women that you would look at and run away from. But the last thing that we're going to talk about.
Stallion. I mean, she looks beautiful without makeup.
Yeah. Well, then we need to go all natural. Tiffany, I thought Tiffany was trying to say something. But the last subject is the Department of Justice coming for the January 6th rioters. Department of Justice coming for the January 6th rioters. This is our last subject. We got about 10 minutes, exactly 10 minutes to get out of here. But those couple of hundred more that was acting a fool who thought they got away, there's an investigation that they're about to close out with. They say about 200 or 300 more that they fit the arrest. So y'all who think y'all got away, you ain't got away. I think they about to come for you. And they say that this is the real catch. They're planning on charging some GOP lawmakers also.
What?
So I wait to see that.
Yeah.
Man,
I wait to see that. It got leaked that they're going to do that. So let's see whether that happens or not.
Yeah.
well, they've been collecting a lot of them from Texas.
Yeah. You see how something you think was organized by somebody little, and the more this thing was planned up big. I mean, people who you thought wasn't behind all this stuff. And that's what happened. Now, it's about to hit the fan now. And so that's why Trump trying to cover, he trying to, every way he trying to close those record, and they keep denying them.
Mm-hmm.
You'll be surprised a lot of names that's coming out of this.
Yeah.
Y'all think that they gonna arrest that lady that she's one of the heirs of Publix?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I hope she's one of them. And Clarence Thomas' wife need to be the other one.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of them that need to go. Hell, if we would have did it, we'd have been under the jail.
Right.
You know?
We would have been in
No, we would be dead. This would be our
Right.
anniversary of our death.
Yeah.
But you know what?
Absolutely
Well, let me tell you something what's gonna happen. There's gonna be a major distraction as there. Let me tell you, people. I might be wrong, but there's gonna be a major distraction. They were on Trump's behind, and you know what happened? All of a sudden, Cuomo is in the story. Cuomo don't even do women, so how he?
What?
Okay, Trump was being investigated. He's about to be in some major trouble, as he still is, right? All of a sudden, this stuff come up about Cuomo, the governor of New York. All of a sudden now, out the blue, it was a distraction.
Yeah.
And every time they get close to Trump or some mess with January 6th, there's a major distraction.
Right.
Well,
What can I tell you now?
Let Cuomo go.
No, baby, that was called I'm about to pay. I'm gonna drop some money and make some things happen. You won't look at me no more. That's what that is.
Yeah.
Money talks in major ways, and he got the money to back this stuff up. When he was making that big fiasco, not leaving the White House, do you know how much money he raised off of that foolishness?
Mm-hmm.
Serious money.
Is Jamar frozen?
He always froze. He always froze.
Yeah, I'm close to the. I don't want to get into no conversation with Bernard Brown on Friday night. Yeah, that's why I got frozen.
Hey, y'all got to tune into this one. You got to tune in. Me and this boy here. Woo, the American most wanted.
Woo-wee. Shantae McLaughlin is up next with Unjust, y'all. So y'all make sure y'all tune into it. Plus, tomorrow we got Mona Lisa Monroe in the morning at 10 a.m. We got Taking the Journey Together with the Butts Craig and Sharon at 6 p.m. We got 2 therapists in the microphone with Dr. Uh, uh,
You're
Harrison
right.
Davis and Aisha Richardson. And then we got those good-looking guys on the Ebony Sports Reporters. Y'all usually don't call a guy good-looking, but there's some good-looking guys on the Ebony Sports Reporters. Y'all women need to tune in and watch the Ebony Sports Reporters at 8 o'clock tomorrow night. They give out some great information. And
They need a woman on the show, y'all. They need a woman on the show.
They got lemon pepper chicken wings also. So
They need a woman on the show, please. So any
And
sport
credit cards.
lovers,
Credit card.
I'm the chief diversity officer for ATL.
we need a woman if they know sports. If you got a
Like,
good
I'm trying
woman
to
out there,
recruit now.
a good woman that knows sports, we need a good woman to help Jamal to calm those other rascals down because they're going, where, Jamal? Where you say they going to?
Straight to hell. I'm going to say this right here. Don't do no more recruiting of people. If people want to come, let them come. Don't do no recruiting because y'all have recruited some people and later on y'all ain't want them around. So that if people are interested, just
don't
come
talk about
on.
Bernard,
So
right? He's
don't
right there.
huh?
We only looking for
Don't
a
do no
woman
more.
now.
I'm just saying, don't do no. Just let it happen naturally. Just let it happen naturally. Just let
They
it
don't
happen
want no
naturally.
women on that show, y'all. But I'm gonna fire.
I'm
the
gonna
first
say, no, let me go say
This gonna be like CBS.
They had 10 hosts. They had 10 hosts. My contract said it would be every other week or something like that. 10 hosts would be there. Guess what?
One.
We might no, it would be 12. Guess what?
11.
Maybe five. So that's what I'm saying. Don't do no recruiting. Cause that's why I say I'm just saying that's me. Don't do no recruiting. If somebody come along, naturally.
Okay. So y'all tune in tomorrow night and look at those good looking guys.
Check out, look.
8 o'clock tomorrow.
Now that show Unjust has been my favorite for a minute because it's kind of sad, but it's good. So y'all really need to tune into that.
She's on at 9 o'clock in about 7 minutes. We got about 3 or 4 minutes. Anybody got any closing thoughts?
You didn't talk about the Saturday shows.
Just on the
the Saturday shows we got Friday and Saturday shows. We talk about them tomorrow night.
We don't want to talk about no America at the midnight, at the dawn or whatever.
We're gonna talk about how I'm gonna lock RG ass up.
Keyshawn was saying something. Keyshawn, go ahead.
Just very quickly, the Mediation Center of the Coastal Empire, we're hosting a number of community conversations focusing on some great topics, some important topics in the community. Let me see if I can pull this up. If not, definitely follow our page. This particular discussion is on peer court, the upcoming peer court coming to Chatham County. Basically, it's listening sessions. Basically, what do you want to see? How do you want this to be created? They're putting this opportunity. We're giving it to y'all. We know it's already going to help a lot of students, but we want to hear your voice. How do you want this peer court to look like? This will be a function of the school system, of the juvenile court system, as well as some other essential Chatham County departments. So we're having listening sessions for that. Please check out our Facebook page for more information on that.
All right.
And that's Mediation Center of the Coastal Empire.
All right. Anybody else before I tell everybody about 2 events this weekend? We got the fish fry with the Labor Council this weekend out there on Dean Forest Road. A bunch of political candidates from all over the state will be there. We have that's from 12 to 3 or something. I don't know. Whatever time. It's early. And from 4 to 10 o'clock, from 4 to 10 o'clock on Saturday, we got the Spirit Bum Festival. That's a lot of young people. They'll be out there off of Louisville Road, at in concert, freestyling their talents. They got all type of activities out there. I want you, so if you're young and don't want to cause any trouble, come on out there and listen to it. Meet these young people. Most of them they started 2 new shows on this network, Tribing It and Speak Freely. So y'all come out and meet these young people and get involved, so that you can see the positive things they're doing, not any negative thing like Bernard said. We want to showcase the positivity of what our youngsters are doing, and so y'all come out and patronize them. It's out there off of Louisville Road, Rathbarn Street, I believe, off of Louisville, at one of the sites out there. And they're going to be doing music and other festivities. The Spirit Bomb Festival.
Yeah.
Anybody else? We
Hey,
got 30 seconds.
Hey, I want to thank this little young man for coming on. I want to invite you back next Wednesday because I want to question something that I have to ask you and maybe think about it. What do you want us as the older community to help the young community so we can get on the same page? That's why I want to hear from you, next week.
All right. If all hearts and minds are good, then we're going to take it out like the pastors do. What's wrong?
What?
Robert,
Oh.
You know what?